how do you deal with your own personal fears and phobias? Because what do they say? Physician, heal thyself,
Yes.
right? And so for you, I'm sure you've been in loops in your life where you're like, well, wait a second, I got this under control, or now I don't. How have you processed that over the years?
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, look, I don't have all the answers, even though people use the word guru when they refer to me. I'm
Rightfully
not.
so.
Yeah, I'm more like a psychological engineer, if you like. Oh, absolutely. I have problems and challenges. I get it wrong, or can't figure something out. So, I might call one of my friends and say, I'm really struggling with this. What do you think? And or sometimes, I don't recognize I'm stuck. When my father died, I was in a really bad way, actually. And I was also working a lot with veterans. And, these are people who are very depressed. And I got infected with that mindset. And, one of my friends, he's a Zen master. He called me up, Genpa Roshi, and he called me and he said, he's American. He says, I understand you're depressed. And I said,
Is he Californian?
Yeah. Okay. I said, yeah, I suppose I'm not feeling great. He goes, I want to speak to the voice of depression disowned. And I went, okay. And he said, what's it like to be disowned? And I went, depressing. And we had a dialogue with that aspect of me. And it's interesting because many years ago, I remember getting my heart broken as I go back to the hypnotist that I interviewed. And I thought, I never want to feel bad again. So I'm going to learn techniques to make me feel good. What I didn't realize is feeling good and bad is part of life. So it isn't one constant rah-rah. And so, I also, of course, the other thing is, sometimes, it can just be a simple piece of wisdom from like my mother or from my wife or somebody like that. For example, my friend Mikey Neal, who's a brilliant life coach, he said to me a few years ago, he said, he goes, again from California, I noticed, he goes, you date some really beautiful women, right? I said, yeah, I suppose so. He says, but you don't like them. I went, no. I said, but what's that got to do with it? They're hot. He went, no, stupid thinking, stupid. And I said, okay, what do you think I should do? So he said, think, who do you love to be with? Who do you like spending time with, right? He goes, and who do you feel very attracted to? So I put these two ideas into my subconscious, went off into a little trance, and it drew an Excel spreadsheet, and it went like that. It went, Kate. And Kate
in your brain.
Yeah, in my mind, in my imagination. Right. And I went, huh! Because Kate had been my assistant for years, and she ended up running the companies and everything. We worked together, and she's a beautiful woman. And I went, this is very awkward. I can't, this would be unprofessional. My mother had said to me, she said, are you and Kate? I went, no, I can't, Mum, because, we work together. Anyway, one night we're sitting in my kitchen a few weeks later, and we'd had a couple of bottles of wine. And I said, so tell me something about you that I don't know. And she said, I love you. And I went, I feel the same, So sometimes it can come from, it isn't necessarily remedial, although, at times I have felt really stuck. And I try and figure it out myself. And if I can't, I go and ask somebody else. And I go, what would you do about this? Or I want you to, help me with this. Give me a bit of advice. So I'm very fortunate in that I'm surrounded by some really good people. And also, because life's been good to me, I try and help people as much as I can. I've never charged anyone for therapy in all the years I've been doing it. I ask them to give a donation to charity. And I work with, obviously it's reported when I work with famous people because they go and tell everyone. But most of the people I work with are just regular people. Like yesterday, I spent yesterday afternoon working with a guy with serious PTSD who's, this is a hero soldier, who's put himself in harm's way, so we can all sleep safe at night. And he's come back, not physically wounded, but mentally scarred. And so I feel, firstly, I enjoy doing that. And because I've spent a lot of time honing it, it's easy for me. What's a few hours for me and will be a lifetime for him.
And you never charge for your services?
I've never charged.
They always
anybody.
donate to charity.
Yeah, a couple of times people have said to me, I have got to do, no, I can't have this, I feel uncomfortable. And I've said, well, I don't know, endorse my work, that would be really nice. And so they've publicly gone and said, Paul Mckenna, help me. And by the way, I love that, that's great.
That probably comes back to you tenfold, though, when you just give all that away. Is it Do you believe in giving out good energy to the world and it coming back? I mean,
Totally.
You lived in California for 10 years.
Yeah, I do believe in it. But, last night at dinner, one of my oldest friends said to me, he said, Paul, you seem very happy right now. I said, I am. He said, years ago, I would have said, healer, heal thyself, because I was going through a few challenges. But he said, one of the things I thought also is you give to everyone else and you don't look after yourself enough. And it's a very good point, you see, because self-care, if I'm not looking after me, then I can't do my job as well. So it's in a way I actually have to book time when I'm not going to do anything, because otherwise, with my ADHD and my busy mind, I'd be doing stuff all day long. So I have to actually book some time to self-care, to meditate or work out, or just do something really just simple, walk the dog in the park or something.